What's going on YouTube? How you guys doing? So I've gotten myself into a new hobby. As you can tell, I'm a little bit thinner. I am down uh, to 262 from 300 on surgery day. I was at 300.4 or something like that, and I'm at 262. So I'm down about 38 pounds. I'm down almost 60 pounds since January 30th. And with this newfound energy and newfound less weight me, I have decided to take up a new hobby. This is my OneWheel GT. First one wheel I've ever owned. Um, First one wheel I've really ever ridden. Tried riding my best friends, who got me invested in this, and had issues riding his, but I wasn't going to be deterred. I loved the concept of feeling like you're just hovering, of riding on a single tire, and being able to go places, do things that I hadn't been able to do before. I probably could have ridden it at 300 pounds, but I probably would not have enjoyed it as much as I have um, at my lower body weight. Um, so I got it on Saturday, and currently I have roughly, according to the app, I have right at 20 miles on it. So today is Wednesday. So rode it Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So I'm putting just under about 4 miles a day on it. Um, Learning to stop is the hardest, at least it was for me, the hardest thing to do. Um, Being able to slow down and stop and get off the board without sending the board, because it's got, for those of you that don't know, the board has your front and your back. So this is your lead side here. This is where, when you're going forward, and this is your rear pad here. Your front pad has two sections on either side. Let me see if I can spin it around here without tipping it. So on half the board, if you cut the board in half, there's a section of sensors here and a section of sensors here. And to get the board to move forward, you have to have your foot touching both sensors. Once it senses that your foot is touching both sensors, then it takes you from a dropped rear and brings you up, helps you get leveled this way, and then you have to level yourself and balance yourself, heel to toe. And once you get that down, then you can start riding. Now, it's got what they call a simple stop, which is if you lean backwards, it will stop the board and go down. That's great and all, but it limits your ability to ride in reverse if you have to get, turned around or move. You can't ride backwards or in reverse. You can only ride forwards. So I've been working on what they call the quick stop, which is uh, riding the board, getting it leaning back, getting to a complete stop, and then lifting uh, your front foot completely off the board and setting it on the ground, which then sets you back and stops the board. And so that's been what I've been working on. Um, I love this thing. Honestly, I love this thing. Um, it's got a lot of torque. It's able to move a guy my size. Hopefully, I won't be this size for too terribly long. Uh, it's got lots of battery life. I've charged it twice and I've went 20 miles. I probably didn't even have to charge it the second time. Just thought, I'll just top it off. Um, so I charged it when I first got it all the way up to 90%. And then yesterday I topped it off. And you can, in the app, you can set it up to only charge to 90%. Then it stops the charge. And that way you can extend the life of the battery. So your battery will do better if you don't charge it all the way up. Also, if you live on a hill, let's say, it has regenerative braking, much like the Tesla car has. And so when you lean back to slow down to go down a hill, it is charging the battery. Well, if you're already at 100%, and that energy has nowhere to go, then it will shut the board off. So if you live on a hill and you're going to be going down that hill, you're going to want to make sure you don't charge above 90%, so that regenerative braking has somewhere to store that energy that it's creating. And so keeping your board between 80-90% at the top end and 10 to 20% at the bottom end is going to vastly improve the life of the battery, which this battery is incredible. 20 to 30 miles, depending on how much air you have in the tire, how big a person you are, and that sort of thing. And I think it's pretty much right on that 20 to 30 miles. I've got the tire is inflated stock from the factory at 20.5 psi. At least that's what mine came in at. I haven't touched the added or taken away any air from it. It takes about 50 miles to break in the tire. So I'm still working on that. Once the tire's broke in, it is a little more pliable and a little less rigid. Other than that, you can deck it out however you want. I went with the red and black theme. Red uh, fender here, and you can go without a fender. You don't have to have a fender. I plan on doing some trail riding. Having a fender keeps dirt and dust from gathering up on your plates. I've went with the blacked out rail protectors, and then the red skid plates, and then I also went to Float Life and got what they call float pads. And the float pads just add an extra layer of protection and allow your float plate or your plates here, your skid plates, to last a bit longer because there's additional meat there. And so um, so with that, I enjoy the sport. I would say if you have the ability to do it, definitely look into it. You can. This was $2,200, brand new, right off of the OneWheel or Future Motion website. You can find the older version, which is the XR. You can find them for anywhere from $1,200 to $1,500. They have also the Pint and the Pint X, which are a bit smaller. The Pint is about a 8 to 10 mile range, and it's a little bit smaller and a little less heavy of a board. Doesn't have a top speed. I think the top speed on it is like 12, 16 miles an hour. This one will do 20, 21 miles an hour. There are videos of a guy getting it up to 30, 31, 32, I think was the highest he was able to get it. But you're really risking it because these things will do what's called a nosedive. And what that is when the power for keeping you level and the power to go fast run into each other, meaning there's not enough to do both. So what it does is either shuts off or it can no longer hold you level, and it nosedives you. Either way, it's going to end in a nosedive. Um, so about 20 miles an hour is a safe spot to maintain. It does have pushback. I haven't felt it. I have had the beep. It'll beep and let you know you're getting to that point. But my beep and pushback would have been because I was maxing out the lowest setting, which was 12 miles an hour. It was letting me know that I was going faster than my lowest setting. And that beep and whatnot, 8 or 9 miles an hour. And then you can gradually move up. I'm on to the second step, which will allow me to get to, I believe, 18 miles an hour before I start to feel that pushback and get that beep. Once you learn how to stop it safely, it is so much fun. It is just a blast, and it really brings me back to my roots growing up. I was a skateboarder in junior high and high school. I even got my Converse All Stars here, whoop whoop, red and black. Um, which reminds me of what I had Converse All Stars through junior high and high school. I wore them quite a bit, so they were cheap at that time. You could pick them up for like 19.99, and so yeah, it's I guess you could call it my midlife crisis and whatnot. But yeah, this thing is really a good time. If you've ever done board sports, ever skateboarded, or you do any kind of snowboarding or whatever, it is a great time. It is dangerous. There are faults to it. I definitely recommend gloves and a helmet. Make sure you protect that brain. Um, a lot of guys will glove up, knee pads, body armor, the whole bit. I'm not that one. For one, I am a very cautious person. I've never broken a bone in my body. That isn't to say it won't ever happen. I just am a cautious person. I don't jump into these things wanting to push the limits. I kind of get to where I feel comfortable, and that's where I keep it. And I ride my motorcycle in the exact same fashion. I don't press the limits of my motorcycle. I don't over exaggerate my turns. I'm very cautious. Um, I have no desire to end up in the hospital. So, I will put gloves and a helmet on if I get a little road rash from falling and sliding on. That's part of the price. But there's definitely things that you have to be aware of. Goon Squad, the older brother wrecked on his one wheel, messed up his hands pretty bad. Casey Neistat wrecked on his and broke his collarbone. Um, and collarbone breaks are a common occurrence because you're impacting the concrete, usually on your shoulder, on your lead shoulder, and that causes a lot of force into your collar bone area, and that tends to be the weakest link. So anyway, guys, I just thought I'd hop on here, give up an update as to how things are going and something new that I'm trying. I will definitely try and do some videos out on the one wheel. I don't have any fancy schmancy 360 cameras or anything like that that I can um, take with me and be able to show you it rolling and all of that. Um, I do have a DJI camera that is on a gimbal that I can use for taking you guys along for a ride, but it won't be as cinematic as some of the guys that are putting out videos out there. So anyway, guys, I thought I'd jump on here, give a brief update of my weight loss, as well as show you guys my new hobby. You guys have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace!